Hi, I'm Emily from Happy Houseplants, and I'm going to talk to you today about watering your plants. So I get a lot of questions about how often should I water this plant, and that's a hard question. There's no hard or fast rule for it. It really depends on where your plant's from, where it's going to be, how warm it is, how much light it's getting. So I'm going to tell you about how to read your plant and how to realise what it needs. So have in mind a watering day of the week, Friday or Saturday, whenever's good for you, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to want watering on that day. So different plants need different levels of water. Succulents, not so much, because they hold it all in the leaves. Very thin, feathery leaves, yes, they probably want more water. But to kind of read your plant, the main thing is, firstly, have some drainage. That's the main thing with any kind of watering. So have holes in the bottom of the pot, that's the key thing, so that the water can drain away and it won't sit there and rot your roots. But say I'm coming to water this plant on Friday, if the leaves are looking a little bit shriveled and it's all drooping, probably needs a drink, but the soil's definitely going to tell me what that plant needs. So even if it feels a little bit dry on top, stick your fingers in and feel what's happening around the roots. If it's slightly damp, then that's perfect. Just skip it for a few days and water later on. A key sign is if you see the soil coming away from the sides of the pot, it's shrunk, it really does need a good water, that's a definite. But yeah, just look at your plants. I mean, these are all bouncy and full, and you know, they're happy. And you can kind of see that, you'll get to know your plant. And what its needs are going to change with the seasons as well. So plants that need more water when they're growing and when there's bright light, and they might want some liquid feed. So every other watering, give them some liquid feed in the growing season, which is March to September or October. And in the winter, when it dries out and there's less sun, you're going to want to really drop your watering. That's key. I think a lot of plants die in the winter, and people are, perturbed as to why this has happened. They just don't need it. They don't need the water. So especially big pots or dark corners, they can really hold that water for a really long time if it's not warm enough or there's not enough sun to dry them out. So just keep feeding. I think most plants die because of overwatering. Their roots are rotted and you can't really bring them back after that. You can have a go at repotting. You cut away the mushy brown roots and repot in some dry soil. But it's much easier to bring back a plant, a thirsty plant, much easier. So the rule really is just don't overwater, and think about where your plant's from. Try and recreate its natural habitat much more. I mean, these guys are rainforests, they like humid, and these guys are hot and arid places, so just have a little read about where they're from and try and mimic its environment, but really feel the soil and you can't go wrong.